Not quite sure of the YouTube etiquette when it comes to, this intro. Like, do you have to say, "Hi, everybody on YouTube. This is Wingnut"? It just seems counterproductive to me. But then again, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Hi, everybody. So, once again, I'm out and about of an evening riding around on the motorcycle. The weather's starting to drop now. It is about mid-November-ish. And I want to talk about motorcycle riding during the winter. There are people who ride their motorcycles in the winter. I'm one of them. And before you say, well, you're down in Virginia, so it's not that cold. True. It does not get that cold. I have ridden in the winter in Connecticut, and Rhode Island. And then I know some folks who ride almost year-round up in Canada that were part of my Magna group. Absolutely fabulous that you can get set up like that. So, to ride in colder temperatures and colder weather is quite simple, really. It is not like super cold; it's really chilly, but the wind shear or the wind chill factor is really, really interesting, and I'll put that up right about there so you guys can take a look at it. Now, I actually have a link down below to a source for that. And what it means is the faster you go, the colder it gets. Surprise, surprise, surprise. And I know I actually mentioned that to some riders at work, and I even said it as a group meetings people put out to their motorcycle riders in their divisions, and I have caught nothing but hell for saying it. But that's the truth of it. Some people might not understand. So some of the ways to combat that: layers, dressing in layers. And you want to have enough layers that you're warm, where your core temperature is not dropping, but not so much that you're sweating. And you want to make sure, you protect your hands, your neck, your feet. But the biggest thing is to dress in layers. Full face helmets, of course, if unless you're really hardcore and you just ride with a face mask. So here's what I do. Currently, I'm wearing my Irish Setter waterproof boots, which is a set of boots that I almost always wear when I ride my motorcycle anyways, but they're insulated, they're thermal. On top of my feet, I'm running a set of Dickies wool work socks. For a base layer, I'm using Omni wool pants and Omni wool long sleeve shirt. On top of that, I have a regular t-shirt. And then for jeans, these are actually fleece lined Wranglers, carpenter cut jeans. And I was sweating just sitting in the thermals in the house. Right now, I'm fairly comfortable. I can feel that there's cold air, but it's not like cutting through to me. You know what I mean? And then for my motorcycle jacket, I'm still using my usual, what's become my usual vintage jacket, but I have the waterproof liner in it, and I have the thermal liner in it, and of course my heated gloves set on low. And I'm very comfortable right now. To cover my neck, I'm using a First Gear neck cover scarf thing, and I'll put a description and links to everything below if you're interested. And that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm very comfortable. In fact, my hands are a little warm. So, I'll tell you, but I'm also not doing highway speeds. I'm only doing, 35 miles an hour, and and I'm quite comfortable. Like I said, I can feel some air movement through my jacket from the vented, but it's not getting down to me because I have that waterproof layer sealed below. And that's the biggest thing, is to cut the wind. That's why you see people wear like a lot of chaps. It's not just for protection from road rash, it's also to cut wind. It's a windproof layer. Another great thing to have is, a light base layer, a medium base layer, and then a heavy base layer for colder weather. You can also cut a lot of the extra layers out by buying heated gear. And there's lots of really good heated gear out there. I'm a fan of the hot wired stuff from Sedici, but that's what I know, and it's also what I can afford. There's Tourmaster, there's Gerbing, Venture. There's a couple ones called Bike Tech out of England. So there's definitely a lot of choices for gear and heated gear. But base layers and thermals and whatnot, they're easy to come by. And they're easy to find, they're easy to get your hands on. So I strongly suggest that, especially if you're going to be riding one that's below 70 degrees or long highway rides. A cotton thermal base layer is not a bad idea. So right now, like I said, I'm perfectly comfortable with what I described earlier. And we're starting to pick up the pace here a little bit. And then we're going to run down a little frigid tunnel on Shore Drive. And then I'm going to hop on the interstate for the return. And let you guys know. Now I am starting to get a little bit of air up inside the pant legs, but it's not uncomfortable. So with that, you know, they got touring pants that are thermals, and they have liners in that as well. Or you could just simply buy the pants that you have, like this is a $40 pair of jeans with a thermal liner that's built into them, so you can't take it out. You know, it's sewn in. So these are my strictly winter motorcycle breeches or working outside breeches. And you can get a little Velcro strap, or you could tie a shoelace around it to close it up if you wanted to. I didn't think it was necessary. Now for the electric heated gear, they have battery operated, and then they also have 12 volt plug-in. I suggest 12 volt plug-in because you just hook it into the bike and you're good. I dig the shit out of my gloves. I love my gloves. I've had them for 2 years now, and they're doing great. Now the palms are not heated, but the fingertips and the top of the hand are. I'm sure if I was going like across country, but several hundred miles a day or more in colder weather, I would either have a set of Hippo hands or moose knuckles or whatever they call them that go over it to stick my hands into, but or heated grips, which I think would be quite comfortable. I've seen it where people have insulated their brake and clutch levers using pipe insulation and foam, heat shrink foam, and at the end of the season you just cut them off because they're selling like you're out $2. So, but for your electric layers, since I've gone off on a rant, you simply remove all your other base layers out of your gear that normally has a liner in it, and you would put the electric layer in, and then you put your. So instead of having my waterproof system and thermal in here, I would do the heated jacket layer underneath for this jacket. So that's how you would do that. But they're great stuff. But right now, like I said, it's not super cold. It's only what? We'll see what AccuWeather has to say. 50 degrees out as we speak, where I'm currently at. All right, 50 degrees. Not a lot of wind, you can see from the trees. But once I get out over the bridge at Chicks Beach, then the temperature is going to be a lot worse because you're going to have all the wind coming off the water. So you have that to contend with as well. So it's 50 degrees right now, and what I'm wearing is more than adequate. In fact, when I stop, I start getting a little overheated. And you don't want to sweat. I cannot stress that enough. You do not want to sweat. Or if you have to go through snow or rain, I would also suggest having a decent one-piece rain jacket or some really good slickers. Because even if you do like a two-piece deal, you're still going to get water in there. All right, in between it. I don't know how it happens, but it does. But if you can get some good waterproof gear, do that. But always do an overset. Bright colors, because I'm paranoid about people not seeing me when it's raining. I actually have like a military PT belt in my saddlebag, so if I get caught out in rough weather, I actually strap it across myself diagonally to make myself more visible. So, you know, there's 100 ways to do it, but, you know, you'll have to find what works best for you. All right, so highway speeds. I'm doing 60 miles an hour right now, give or take. And the only place I'm getting cold air at really is in my helmet, because I have all of my face shields. All my helmet vents are open. The reason they're all open is so I can get enough air, because I didn't coat my windscreen with anti-fog before I left the house, which I'll have to do when I get home. But yeah, as of right now, feel great. I'm comfortable. If I close down my vents in my helmet, I think I would be in just as good shape. I am getting some air up inside my pant legs, but it's not uncomfortable. I can tell there's cold air, but it's not bad. Yeah, you know, something I thought about doing just to be an asshole, which is probably not something I won't do, but I thought about getting an Uber sticker and putting it on like the side of my helmet or on the bike. Just like pull up people there on their phone, like, hey, I'm here, I'm your Uber. No, I mean, it would be funny because the looks of people's face would be amazing. I cannot describe to you how warm my hands are right now. At 65 miles an hour on the interstate. My glove set to medium is actually a little too warm. As far as everything else goes, I don't feel cold. You know, so my layering was a good idea. Oh, stretch the old legs out. Lean back and look at that sunset burnt across the sky. Woo-wee. That is awesome. Wow. So I've been on the interstate now for a good, I'd say 10-15 minutes, and I'm still comfortable. Actually, my hands are a little bit hot, like really hot, and I've got these things set on medium. So, you know, still comfortable. My feet aren't cold. My legs aren't cold. I got a little bit of air coming up in between my thermals and my pant leg, but it's not bad, and it's not uncomfortable. It's just I know there's air there. The only place that's actually even remotely cold, I mean, or cool or chilled, is my ears, because as I was putting my helmet on, my neck and my half head warmer slipped down. And I still covered my neck, but you know, the air that's getting into the helmet, had I had like a balaclava on, I'd probably be sweating right now. You know, so just to recap everything, you know, layers. I mean, winter riding is possible. Make sure you dress in layers, invest in gear that's adequate, and you know, just be smart about it. Just, you know, and the great thing about dressing in layers is, let's say this is a morning ride and I go into work, and in the afternoon it's warmer, I can take a layer off. Same thing with heated gear. You can just unhook your heated gear. So, you know, it's doable. Now, the things that you do have to worry about are additional road hazards like black ice, and that kind of thing. Of course, because it is fall, you have to look out for all the people sucking down their pumpkin spice lattes, because they're so high on that shit they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. Nothing wrong with pumpkin spice lattes. I think pumpkin spice lattes, marijuana, and alcohol should all have the same rules. If you like what I got to say, you've been listening, subscribe, you know, give me a like, give me a dislike. I don't care. It's on you. Have a great one.